Hello, welcome. If you don't know who I am or don't recognize this face, my name is Annalicia and I go by Love in Motion on this channel. Typically on my YouTube, I like to talk about self-awareness, self-growth, self-actualization, and self-empowerment. Today is absolutely no different, so let's get into it. Yeah. Today we will be doing a letter to myself via video format. I have been doing this for the past 6 years. It is a tradition for me. Essentially what this entails is I discuss 3 themes that I believe are going to be present in my life in the new year. So for this year it'll be 2024, and then I also will reflect on the previous year, which is 2023, and then from there we'll discuss how I believe those themes kind of resonated for me in retrospect. And then we'll talk about 2024. I am an intuitive being, so I believe that I am sent these themes for a purpose, and I really find it beneficial for me to be able to engage with myself, that being my present, my past, and my future self, through this methodology. I also think it's a cool way to talk about and discuss the new year in a way that isn't so rigid. Like, obviously vision boards are super cool. I made one for 2024 as well, but I think sometimes it can be a little bit off-putting to make resolutions and goals and for them maybe not to come true in the way that you thought. So thinking of life in more themes helps me personally, and it's just the way that my brain works. We're gonna get right into it. Last year, the 3 themes that I chose were curiosity, discovery, and pressure. I went into the year very curious about what life was going to present me because I was starting to open the door to new opportunities and made an important decision at that time to move across the country. Something that I did accomplish. Woo! But it took a lot to get there. I knew that making such a big decision was going to challenge me and that it was going to force me to do something that I was uncomfortable with, to grow as a person, and it gives you new experiences. So that's something that I really wanted to engage with. I also knew that I had a big major trip planned for myself. I went to Guatemala. Woo! It was beautiful, amazing, and I was there for 10 days. I've always had an affinity for Mayan civilization and I've always been drawn to it spiritually, so it was just another reminder that there is so much beauty in the world and that I have this spiritual team that does guide me and does want me to live a beautiful, purposeful life. Also within the year, I was challenged a lot with my shadow. I have anxiety and depression, and so those were major players, as they are every year. But I think that because I went into the year knowing that things happen and I kind of was just allowing things to flow and surrendering to life, greeting my shadow, it wasn't as deep and dark because I knew that I could overcome it. And I always have this ability to learn and grow from something, which is that curiosity, right? Like, if you don't do something right, then you get curious about, well, maybe I can do it a different way. It just challenges you to move differently, to engage with yourself differently. And I also had just a lot of like interpersonal relationship stuff going on. I was in a situationship at the first half of the year and it ended up turning into a relationship that was messy and complicated, but one thing is for certain, there was so much love there, and I'm very grateful for that ability to be in that space with someone. And it may not have worked out, and the latter half of the year I spent like grieving the relationship because it was my first time really feeling so deeply connected to someone that in a lot of ways healed a lot of me. Like, he held a lot of my trauma in a way that allowed me to not feel so visceral about certain bad things that happened to me, and he was exactly what I needed emotionally. Maybe not with everything, but emotionally he was very supportive, he was very loving, and I'm very extremely grateful for that. And into August of this year, I moved all the way across the country. So I did manage to accomplish that goal that I had set for myself, not in the way that I anticipated. I was put under that pressure to make that diamond, and I feel like I've had to work through a lot of negative beliefs that I've had. I've had to work through my anxiety and my depression. I've had to work through all of this stuff that I kind of not swept under the rug, because I'm very adamant about working on myself, but things that I just knew that I needed to clean up my act about. I'm doing that, and that pressure was on. And going into 2024, I do feel like a newly fresh pressed diamond, baby. Yes, I do. So going into 2024, the words that I chose, the themes that I chose for this year are serenity, focus, and consummation. Now, the last one I know is going to sound real confusing, but we'll get there. We're going to start with serenity. So I chose the word serenity because serenity is a state of being. It means that everything around you can be chaotic, but you are at peace with yourself. And it's a little bit different from peace, because peace can just be things aren't happening outside, right? There's a calm waters. But serenity is there being things happening, but you steering the boat are coasting. You know what you're doing. You're ready to go. And I do think that next year I will have more ease than I have probably in my whole life. In Arizona, where I currently live, I don't have any more tolerance for things that are going to upset my spirit. I don't have as much give in me, and I don't want to say that like I'm not going to be empathetic or giving or anything like that. I just am more laser focused, which goes into the second word, focus. I'm just ready to fulfill all of the things that I need to fulfill for myself. And I'm ready to engage with the world and stop being so much in my head and actually start doing those things. And if you've watched any of this channel, that's all that I talk about, is like just standing on it, being about it, doing the gosh dang thing. Moving into 2024, like, I just don't have space for my negative thought patterns or the chaos of anybody else. I'm willing to give if I have the space to give, but I'm no longer giving if I do not have the space. Honoring myself in that way, I think I'll have a lot more opportunity and a lot more time and, again, focus. Last year was focused a lot on my interpersonal relationships. It was the first time that I had been in a relationship since I was young. And so I did give a lot of my energy to that person, and I don't regret it. I learned a lot. I grew a lot. We talked about that already. But this year I'm just like buckling in and ready for the ride. You know what I mean? The last word, consummation. So this is where things get a little funny. I use that word because I was gonna say completion, but I didn't feel like that was right. I just didn't feel like it was right. I'm looking up all of these words, finishing doing da. But what I'm really doing is consummating things that I've already done. Do you feel me? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because like when you consummate something, it's like you put that stamp of approval on it. And so I think that I've already done so much work. I be working all the time. I'm a creative being. I have so much stuff that I do, but it has no focus. it has no focus. And so once I get myself focused, I'm gonna stamp everything. Projects that I've worked on that I've never finished, stamp, done, completion, thank you. All of the hard work that I've done on my shadow work, consummation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want any of those things to like come up. I want to actually be accountable for myself. 2024, it's the year of 8, which is about abundance. I do believe I'm abundant in a plethora of ways, but I think going into the new year, I just want to truly utilize things that I've already done in the abundance of my creativity, the abundance of who I am, utilize that to change my positioning in life. I'm going to be at a better place when I sit down to make this video 1 year from now. And I truly believe that. I know that because last year I was sitting in a whole different space than I am today. I have a beautiful apartment that is a little too expensive for what I pay, but that's okay. I live in a beautiful state. I am finding my way and I'm stumbling along the way, but I, again, am so confident in my ability to figure it out and my ability to just exist. I'm not saying that there isn't going to be road bumps. And back to the word serenity, we're gonna take it on. We're gonna be confident in walking forward and moving our boat through those more chaotic waters. We're gonna be smart about where we send our ship. We're not gonna send our ship out when we know that there's going to be a tornado or a tsunami. Being focused on doing the tasks that I need to do so that I can put those stamps on them. That is the video. I hope it's not too chaotic for you. And you. But yeah, I suggest that you sit and write yourself something or make a video. Make you a little vision board. I promise you, I had so much fun making this vision board. And I really was trying to be intentional about what I put on here. So, see you later, alligator.